Hello, this is Music Tech Help Guy. Welcome to episode 29 of my Pro Tools video tutorial series. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys a feature in Pro Tools called Input Quantize. Basically, what this does is it allows you to, on input, as you record your MIDI recordings, it basically makes Pro Tools automatically quantize any notes that you play in. So there's no need to go back and constantly pull up the Quantize menu and quantize your notes. So let me just play a little drum beat here without Input Quantize on so you can see how I'm off of the grid, and then I'll play it with Input Quantize on. All right, let's pull that up. Zoom in. I'm quite a bit off the grid. I'm actually a little bit behind on some spots here, but generally I tend to rush when I play, so most of the time I'm actually ahead of the grid. So we've got some notes ahead of the grid, some notes behind the grid. Again, normally what we would do is we'd hit Command A, just like I showed you guys in episode 26. Select all those notes, hit Option 0, pick Quantize, choose your quantization value, and then hit Apply. Well, that all takes an extra step. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to work quickly and make lots and lots of pre-quantized MIDI recordings. So what I'm going to do is pull up the Event Operations menu again. And this time I'm going to choose Input Quantize. All you do is you click Enable Input Quantization. For this, I do not want to preserve my note duration, but I do want to quantize the note off. And I also know that this drum beat has sort of a 16th note basis to it. So I'm going to choose that. And let's play in our drum pattern again. All right, so let's take a look at that. And as you can see, everything is perfectly quantized to a 16th note grid. Cool, so that's all good. Let's move to our next instrument. I've got this sort of like bass instrument here in vacuum. So I'll go ahead and use that. This also has sort of like a 16th note idea to it, like a 16th note sort of groove. Something like that. So let's just play that in. There we go. Now, one of the things you'll find with Input Quantize is sometimes if you're like ahead of the grid too much, it'll actually quantize in the wrong direction. That very first note I played, I was a little bit too far ahead. So I may have to just go and manually quantize that. And one thing I didn't do on this one was I didn't turn off that, what was it? I didn't turn off the note off quantize, and I also, for this, I do want to preserve the note duration because, as you heard, some of my notes are getting cut short. So let's try that again. Hopefully I'll play a little bit better this time. Yeah, that was a lot better. Everything's on the grid, but none of the notes, none of the note ends have been quantized, which is not what I want for this instrument. All right, the next thing I'm going to throw in here is this piano. The piano is actually moving at an 8th note pace, not a 16th note pace. Something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Event Operations window again. By the way, there is no key command for Input Quantize. So normally what I do is I just hit Option 0 to bring up Quantize, and then I just go and choose Input Quantize. So for this, I'm going to do an 8th note. All right, take a look at that. Looks like everything is snapped to the grid. And actually, you know what? It looks like I'm actually playing a quarter note there, not a 8th note. but it's okay. Sometimes when you use a smaller value, it's not always it's not always detrimental to the quantization. So, all right, cool. So the one thing you got to make sure you do with input quantize is turn it off when you don't want to use it, because all of us, if you forget to turn it off, you may have some recordings that you didn't want quantized end up being quantized. So we'll make sure we turn that off when we're done with it. I'm just going to, with grid mode on, trim up my MIDI clips here. Select all of those. Hit Command D just to duplicate them a few times. And I'm just going to pull down the bass in the mix just a bit. Now let's hear what our musical idea sounds like. Cool. So again, keep in mind that the goal of input quantizing, is to be able to write music very quickly that's automatically quantized to the grid. And it allows you to work on the fly a bit better than having to constantly go back and hit option 0 to pull up that quantization menu. Basically, you can be assured that everything that you played in within a relative degree of accuracy is going to be quantized correctly. So therefore you end up saving time in the long run because you're able to work a lot quicker and get your musical ideas out quicker and have them automatically be in time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.